Hey everybody, my name is Karen Smith and I'm the Domestic Distribution Coordinator for Tourism and Tea. This is our first product showcase. There's 5 webinars in this lineup. So today we're going to be showcasing 5 of our operators from the Katherine, Kakadu and Arnhem Land areas. So these operators include Angie Kemp from Lurry Tourism in Arnhem Land, Sam Hartley from Kakadu Tourism in the Kakadu National Park, Trish Wadey for Nipmulluk Tours and Cicada Lodge in Katherine, Yvonne Ross from Off-Road Dreaming, who run tours in Kakadu National Park, and Greg Zammit from Outback Australian Tours. They run tours in Kakadu, Arnhem Land and Katherine. So welcome everybody. We've got quite a bit to cover, so we'll just keep moving. Just a reminder, if you've got your haven't got your mute on, can you please do so? Okay, so the areas that we're covering today, Katherine, Kakadu and Arnhem Land, along with Darwin and the Tiwi Islands, are what we refer to as the top end in the Northern Territory, as you can see here on the map. So Katherine is where the outback meets the tropics. It's well known for its beautiful Katherine Gorge and hot springs. It's an easy drive south of Darwin, it takes about 3 hours, and an easy drive from Jabberoo, which is in the Kakadu National Park. It's also about 3 hours. You can also drive north from Tennant Creek or Alice Springs for those who have got a bit more time on their hands. There's rental cars available and camper vans available from Darwin and Alice Springs. And you can also fly into Katherine with Air North, and flying from Darwin takes about an hour, and from Tennant Creek about 1.5 hours, and from Alice Springs 3 hours. So the Kakadu National Park is a UNESCO World Heritage listed site. It's a great place to connect with Aboriginal culture, and there's a great variety of tours on offer there. The main town in the Kakadu National Park is Jabberoo, and that's about a 2.5 hour drive from Darwin, 3 hours from Katherine, and you can fly into Kakadu on a charter. So there's no actual scheduled flights in from Darwin or anywhere around there. Arnhem Land, which is probably one of the least known areas of the Northern Territory and definitely one of the most interesting. It's named after a Dutch ship called the Arnhem, which navigated the coast in 1623. And Arnhem Land's really well known for its fishing and Aboriginal culture and experiences. The main town there is Nhulunbuy, which is in East Arnhem Land, and you can fly into the Gove Airport, which is 10 minutes from Nhulunbuy. To drive in is about 8 hours from Katherine and 11 hours from Darwin, so it's obviously a multi-day trip in there. It's a big drive, and you can fly in, as I mentioned earlier, from Darwin. It takes just under 2 hours to fly in there. Any visitors into Arnhem then need a permit, but these don't cost anything. So I'm just going to stop presenting now because I want to just introduce our next operator, which is Angie Kemp from Lurry Tourism. So Angie, if you would like to share your screen, that would be fantastic. And can I just ask Carolyn from First Light, can you turn your camera off too, please?
Am I right to go?
Yep, you good to go. Thanks,
okay. Hi, everybody. I can see there's over 130 people on this call, which is frightening, but we're good to go. So I'm Angie Kemp. I represent Lirrawee Yolngu Aboriginal Tourism in East Arnhem Land. And we were just talking about the township of Nhulunbuy, and that's where our products are located. I'm just having mouse trouble. There we go. That's better. So as it was just explained, we're to the east of Nhulunbuy. Someone had their speaker on. And it's actually a 1 hour light, a jet plane from Darwin. It goes from Darwin Airport every day at the moment. We have a flight in the morning and a flight in the afternoon from Darwin. And there are also flights from Cairns. They're about 1 hour and 40 minutes. They are daily at the moment, but the airlines are changing their schedules from time to time, so it's best to check. We operate day tours and multi-day tours visiting the remote Aboriginal homelands in the East Arnhem region. And I've circled the 4 homelands on the screen here. So from Nhulunbuy, we have vehicles, 4-wheel drive buses, and we visit Barwaka homeland, Bukadal homeland, and going down further, Baniyala homeland, and then to the west, Ninuke homeland. Literary tourism was established in 2010 to develop and to promote tourism in the remote Aboriginal homelands, to create an economy for them and to allow the Yolngu people to live and work on their homelands. It helps them to ensure that the future generations coming through can stay on their homelands and can work on their homelands. So as I said, we operate day tours and multi-day tours to the homelands, and our product suite, our basic product suite is the Crossing Country Tour, which is for women and men, and it's a 5-day, 4-night tour staying on the Yolngu homelands and undertaking activities with the Aboriginal families. We have a women's tour, which once again is a 5-day, 4-night tour package. That's proven to be incredibly popular this year, and we can't actually schedule enough of them, which is a nice problem to have. We have a Barwaka day tour, which visits the closest homeland, Barwaka homeland, which is about a 1.5 to 2 hour drive over sand. But that's a great day tour. And then we have an introduction to Nhulunbuy and Gove called the Gove Gululu Day Tour. Gululu means welcome in the Yolngu language. And this year, due to demand, basically, we've started to take people to the remote Aboriginal art centres, and most of these are from Gove Airport. We fly into a couple of remote Aboriginal art centres on a day trip. We also operate corporate cultural immersion for the likes of Telstra and CBA, and it's a bit of a team building and cultural immersion there on a 4-day, 3-night itinerary. And we can do student cultural immersion tours as well. Most of those group tours are actually tailor-made. So our basic itinerary for the 5-day, 4-night tour starts in Nhulunbuy, and we pick up from either Nhulunbuy Accommodation or Gove Airport from the morning flights, transfer to the very well-renowned Yirrkala Art Centre for a look at the Aboriginal arts in the morning, and in the afternoon we travel to the Yolngu homeland. They spend 3 nights at the Yolngu homeland, and basically what they do is they undertake activities which the Yolngu hosts and families are undertaking on a daily basis. They'll be introduced to Yolngu culture, Yolngu language, Yolngu law, and then they do activities broken into men and women's activities, because that's how the Yolngu culture works. And the men will do things like spearfishing or making didgeridoos, and the women will go out and gather pandanus, and they'll boil it and dye it. And the Yolngu women will teach you how to weave either baskets or little jewellery, earrings. And the men may also go spearfishing, which is a traditional Yolngu activity, and bring back fish that will be cooked for dinner on the spot. So we, as I said, we have a fleet of 4-wheel drive vehicles. The smallest one is the Toyota Hiace, which fits 10, and the larger one is a 20-seater vehicle. We also have some stakeholders in the region and partners in the light aircraft field, as some of the homelands are a little bit too far, and we fly people in and out of the more remote homelands. So this is Barwaka homeland, where we do overnight tours and day tours. And this is the one that's 1 or 2 hours from Nhulunbuy down the road and onto sand tracks. The Barwaka families start the experience with a welcome smoking ceremony, and after, sorry, go back again. After the day, undertaking activities, they'll also sing and dance and play the didgeridoo and things like that. Bawaka has a what they call a bush university. So when we have the corporate tours and normal tours, there's a little area where people can sit, and the Bawaka elders will go through the culture and talk you through things like that. Nunike is on the western side of the peninsula, and it's completely different. As you can see, it's not white sand, it's red dirt and cliff faces, and this is the one that we fly into. And as you can see, the accommodation varies. At Bawaka, the previous homeland, it was bunkhouse, and it's mixed bunkhouse. So we've got one room for men and one room for women. And at Nunike, we have these large army-style tents which sleep 4 to 5 people. So there's no single use at any of the homelands. Everybody has to bunk in together, and that's part of the experience. So there's a bit more an aerial of the Bawaka homeland. Bawaka actually is a residential community. They have a little school. Interestingly enough, none of the homelands have Wi-Fi, and very, very limited 3G. Most of the time you can't get a phone signal, which is really good because that's also part of the experience, unwinding and mixing and mingling with the Yolngu families. Crocodile homeland is another one further down the west coast. They take a lot of our women's tours. So the women's tours is only for women to attend or participate, but bearing in mind there will be men, Yolngu men, in the background because they live there. We can't ask them to move out when we have our women's tours coming in. We're finding more and more that it's becoming very, very family friendly. The Yolngu love us to bring kids along. It doesn't matter how small they are, because their kids don't often get to interact with kids from the outside world. Also, as I said, we've got we're tailor making a lot of remote Aboriginal art centre tours where we fly them in and out of the different art centres around the region on a one-day tour. And we can do all of these tours, the day tours, for a minimum of 2 people. The overnight tours, we do need a minimum of 6. So that's a little bit about Lirrawee Aboriginal tours. The day tours start from $275 retail. The 5-day, 4-night tours start from $2,399 retail, and kids are $1,999. All commissionable to all agents. That's me.
Great, thank you, Angie. That was really interesting. Thanks. Those photos are really beautiful of the Arnhem Land area there. So next, we're going to move on to Sam Hartley from Kakadu Tourism. Sam, do you want to share your screen?
I most certainly do. Hello, everyone. My name is Sam Hartley. I'm from Kakadu Tourism. And without further ado, I'm going to share an experience with you. Okay. Kakadu will change your soul. It will have you question your place on earth, and it will make you fall in love with country and its people. And at least that's what happened to me last week. And I'm not joking. I only spent 3 days there, and it was my very first time. I started at Kakadu Tourism 4 weeks ago, and I still have a lot to learn. As this place is not just a beach or a coastline, it has a soul. It's home to the oldest Indigenous culture on earth, and it's untouched. Aborigines live there in peace, their traditions and culture still alive and well. And there is only a very small tourism presence, but that is what makes Kakadu so special. It hasn't and it won't turn into a theme park with droves of people. So here is my experience. I hired a 4-wheel drive from Darwin. The roads were sealed, so you could drive straight through to Kakadu no matter what season. I pumped up the radio, and before I knew it, I was in Jabiru 2.5 hours later. Jabiru is a lovely little town, small but very peaceful. There's a grocery shop, petrol station, fire station, gym, pool, medical centre, and a few other businesses. The Mercure Crocodile is located in the middle of town on a beautifully manicured lawn in the shape of a gigantic crocodile. I drove up to reception, and there were hundreds of car parks. As the hotel, bar and restaurant is super popular with locals, There are 110 accommodation rooms, and for some reason, the wet season just isn't as popular as the dry, and I just don't get it. I'm welcomed by a huge burst of aircon as I enter, and the staff are super friendly. I check in, get the lowdown on where to go, head to my room. But on the way to my room and throughout the reception area, there is Aboriginal art. It's authentic and painted right here in Kakadu by Aboriginal artists who live in this small village just down the road, and who I could coincidentally meet later that day. I head to my room, which is lovely and cool. It has all the creature comforts that you would expect from Mercure. And yes, that includes Wi-Fi, aircon, all the hair dryers, mini shampoos, etc. I dump my bag and then I head back out to meet the team and find out everything there is to know about the Croc, which is its nickname. I meet Chris, the general manager, who is the rock that holds the Croc together. And yes, that rhymed. He is a community man at heart, and that is exactly what the Croc needs. His kids go to a tiny school with the Indigenous children that live in Kakadu. Things are very different in Kakadu. In fact, in the middle of our meeting, Chris gets a call from one of the local tribes that asks him for some help. They need some food for their community and running low. He doesn't hesitate. He tells them, we'll be there shortly. So off we go. We pack up the four-wheel drive and we head out to one of the town camps to deliver some fresh meat and vegetables to a local family, which turns out to be one of the painters from the hotel art gallery. Their community will share this food with others in the village. That is what Aboriginal people do. They share. They are not selfish. They are not rushed. They are quiet and they are respectful and friendly. They are eager to share with you what makes their country so special and how things work, like the seasons and the environment and the animals and where they hunt and how they go about their day. So after a day of meeting all the really cool staff and the local community and hearing the stories about how everyone ended up in Kakadu, I'm treated to the best, and I mean the best, barramundi I have ever tasted. This is a regular on the menu, as I'm told the waters of Kakadu is teeming with barramundi. And that's because the elders let the rivers replenish during the wet season and take a break from fishing. They don't just take and take. They live at one with their country. The menu is fantastic, and it's the same class that you would receive in any city like Sydney. But there is a Kakadu twist. Crocodile is on the menu, Kakadu plum cocktails, and many other delights. I'm up and off to Coimbra the next day by road, completely sealed, and it takes me about 40 minutes to arrive. Coimbra is pretty damn cool. It reminds me of a lodge I stayed at in Zimbabwe, Africa years ago, and it feels really chilled and relaxed. There are hundreds of parks. As again, dry season, this place is packed to the rafters. There are 48 lodge rooms, 20 new glamping tents, and over 200 camp and caravan sites, powered and unpowered, 2 resort-style swimming pools, 2 restaurants, and barbecues spotted around the property. The place is an eco-accredited business that works closely with the local community and national parks authorities to provide safe and sustainable environmental practices. I'm shown to my room, which is a lodge room, and it's stunningly appointed. Everything is brand new. The shower, the bathroom, the paint, the closet, the mini shampoos and conditioners and lotions are all Kakadu plum and organic and made on country. Everything I need is in this room and it feels like Kakadu. I meet Ben, the general manager, who drives me around the perimeter of the property and says we need to keep an eye out for water buffalo. Okay, we head past Coimbra's very own airstrip. Flights from Air Kakadu come in many times a day from Darwin and take people up the scenic flights for a bird's eye view of the park and the waterfalls. Later that night, I head to dinner in the newly renovated Mimi's restaurant. I ordered the duck confit. I should have opted for the crocodile pizza, I know, but I couldn't resist and I was not disappointed. I'm off to bed early as I have a sunrise cruise on the Yellow Water Billabong, the most popular tour in the park.
Hey, Sam,
Yes.
sorry, can I just interrupt? Are you supposed to be changing your slides with this?
Yes.
Oh, they're not changing, sorry.
Oh, okay. Let's see. What a shame. You've missed out on all these images and I timed it so well.
Sorry, there we go. Just keep going like that and it's all good.
Okay, all right. So up early the next day for the most popular water cruise in the park. I particularly am going on the wet season cruise. So this actually takes you through over a kilometre of different billabong that you don't see in dry season. Dennis is our guide, a local clansman, and he is passionate about his country. And I learned so much from his hour-and-a-half cruise that I just never knew. Breakfast is included afterwards. There are little facts throughout the cruise. One little fact that I thought was quite interesting was that there are over 10,000 crocodiles in Kakadu, a tenth of all the crocodiles in the NT, and that's one croc every 2 square kilometres. The cruise does not disappoint, and more than just crocodile viewing, it's peaceful and the sounds of wildlife are magical. In fact, he just stops us right in the middle of the billabong, turns the engines off, and it is just amazing. It's sunrise. So that's just some of my experiences. I also headed to the Warajan Cultural Centre, which has just been newly renovated, and a lot of the locals do basket weaving and art classes there. We have got some really exciting plans for this year to entice our Australian market. We've got our suite of events. One of those that's coming up soon in May is Taste of Kakadu. It's just been announced. It's our signature showcase for food. It's over 3 days, lots of spectacular events and experiences. We've just signed on for a new ground oven, so it's going to be a real authentic Australian dining experience. We already have one, but this is a new one. And NAIDOC Week and Reconciliation Weeks in July are going to be huge this year. So we're really just asking Australia in particular, and the world when that opens back up, to tick Kakadu off their bucket list. It's Australia's very own Africa, right in your own backyard. And we've had the busiest wet season that we have seen since the last 10 years. And that's just due to local Northern Territorians heading out. So dry season's already booking up fast. And we have, as I said, we have some cool packages and Indigenous experiences coming this year. So please watch this space. I'm just going to head back because I think I have a little bit of time for some questions.
There was a question on how, from Jackie Prekatis, asked how does Kakadu Tourism intend to keep the purity of Kakadu? Will you be able to restrict numbers to keep that purity?
They've just released the Kakadu Kakadu Tourism Master Plan for the next 10 years. They will be doing upgrades throughout the park, but everything is done in consultation with the traditional owners of Kakadu, and there's many clans throughout Kakadu. So it is something that they're extremely mindful of. It is a World Heritage listed park, so it will not turn into a circus. I don't know about restricting numbers. That's something I might have to come back to you, Jackie, about. But I'm reassured that the essence of Kakadu will not change with the changes that are coming up.
Suzanne and Lola also ask about, Suzanne and John ask about having a link for you.
Yes, I'm more than happy. My presentation actually has my contact details right at the end, an email and a mobile. My email is just sales@kakadutourism.com, and I can type that in here, tourism.com.
Lolo asked, what is the best time of year to travel?
This is such a hot topic at the moment because it's just been wet season. It's the only season I've experienced. It was beautiful. It is chalk and cheese. I think you have to do both. You have to see it in dry because it is a completely different landscape and there's different things to see and different things to do. And then wet season, sorry.
I agree.
Yeah, yeah, and then wet season is just stunning. Like absolutely amazing. Everything is in full bloom and growth, and there's different animals out and about. It's a really exciting place.
Great. Hey, there was another question too, bird watching tours. Do you offer bird watching tours?
We sure do. We have this amazing man called Luke Patterson, who is a bird expert, and he has been doing this for years. We have Bird Week, which is taking place this year as well in September. It takes place every year. We do talks, we do presentations, we've got packages. Keep an eye on the website, KakaduTourism.com, and everything will be uploaded on the website as soon as dates are announced. But birds, we get 1/3 of Australia's birds in Kakadu. The furthest the birds I've heard have come are from Siberia, which is crazy. So it is a bird lover's paradise.
That sounds great. Now, and how many nights would you recommend in Kakadu?
Kakadu is a big place and there's lots to see. So I would give yourself a week, and I would plan out where you're going to stay before you come and hit the highlights. And depending on what season it is, depends on what highlights you can see. So there are different spots in the park that are available during wet season. But if you get in contact with me, I'm more than happy to talk about that further. I'm going to be creating some more itineraries on our website, and it's going to be a little bit more informational. As I mentioned, I've just started, so I've got a bit of work to do, but I'm excited and always happy to help if you have questions.
Great. Thank you, Sam. I think that's everything there. I just wanted to, I think if there's any more questions coming through, we can get people just to email you at sales@kakadutourism.com.
Yep.
So thank you so much for that, Sam. Next, we have Trish Wadey from Nipmuc. Trish, if you would like to come on board.
Oops, hang on. Okay. Can everyone see me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, perfect. Excellent. I don't have a slideshow. I'm coming to you from our helipad actually this morning because the internet reception's slightly better down here than it is up at the visitor centre or down at the boat jetty. So thank you, Karen. My name's Trish. I work here at Nipmuc Tours in Katherine. As Karen mentioned earlier, Katherine's located about a 3-hour drive from Darwin along the Stewart Highway. It's a sealed road all the way down, and then we're a 30-kilometre drive from Katherine Township, so probably about a 20-minute drive. Again, it's a sealed road all the way out. We're quite close to Katherine. Even though whilst you're at the park, you still do feel like you're quite remote. Nipmuc Tours is the sole operator of all tours and attractions here at Nipmuc, or commonly known as Katherine Gorge. We offer a range of products. Sorry, you're going to see a helicopter take off in a second. We offer a range of products from boat tours to canoe tours, cultural tours, helicopter flights. There are also self-guided mountain bike trails and self-guided walks available throughout the park as well. So there's quite a lot of activities for all budgets and all sort of types of travel, whether you're traveling by yourself or part of a family. There's lots and lots to do. Nipmuc Tours is also the operator for Cicada Caves, which is a set of limestone caves 28 kilometres south of Katherine, heading south towards Mataranka. To give you a bit more of a background of Nipmuc, so Nipmuc Gorge is made up of 13 separate gorges. They're all separated by natural rock barriers, particularly in the dry season. This time of year in the wet season, obviously the rain comes in, the river levels rise, and it sort of turns into one big gorge system, which is pretty special this time of year, really. Nipmuc, the name Nipmuc is actually 2 Jawoyn words put together. So it's Nitmi, meaning the sound of the cicada, if you can just envision that nit, 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 and look, meaning place or country. So put together, Nipmuc quite literally translates to cicada country or the sound of the cicada. Just to touch back on some of our products as well, on our boat tours, the majority of our tours will travel along the first 2 gorges. The first gorge is about 3.2 kilometres in length. Then there'll be a short walk from the first gorge to the second gorge. As I mentioned earlier, all of our gorges are separated by natural rock barriers, so there is walking involved in all of our tours. You will board a boat in the second gorge, and then you'll travel along the second gorge, which is about 2.5 kilometres, before turning around and coming back vice versa. The tours are fully guided, and we have a mix of Indigenous and non-Indigenous tour guides that will take you out on the tour. They will share a lot of commentary about the local flora, fauna, geology, geography, and a lot of the Jawoyn culture as well. In May through to October, we do have a number of our seasonal products that are available. So we do operate year round with the 2-hour 2 gorge tour. However, May through to October, we have a larger range of boat tours available. So we have the option of doing a 4-hour tour, which does the first 3 gorges and also has time for a swim. And we also have our signature product being our dinner tour, which is a 2 gorge tour served with a 3-course meal cooked and served on board the boat as well. So that one's a very magical tour, as the tour departs at 4:30 and it returns at 8 o'clock. So if you could just envisage yourself floating back through the gorges as the sun's setting, while being served a candlelit 3-course dinner, it's a pretty amazing experience. Sorry if you can hear that helicopter in the background there. We also have a range of cultural tours. So separate to our river guides, we also have a group. Of cultural guides, and they're made up of staff members from our local communities. So Nitmiluk Tours is 100% Indigenous owned and operated, and we have quite a number of neighbouring communities in the Katherine region. A lot of those community members do work here at Nitmiluk Tours with us, and they provide cultural tours. They range from land-based tours, where you can learn things like firelighting, basket weaving, didgeridoo playing, all of those types of activities. And we also have a river option as well, where you can go upriver with an Indigenous tour guide and one of our river guides, and you can learn those, those histories and those customs and those traditions firsthand from our Indigenous team, while you're taking in the backdrop of the gorge there as well. Our canoe tours, again, they're seasonal. Sorry, it's a bit humid here today. Our canoe tours are seasonal, typically operating between June and October annually. And we do have quite a number of options, being a half day, a full day, and an overnight tour. The canoe tours are self-guided, and we do need to ensure that all canoeists have at least a moderate level of fitness. Again, just coming back to those natural rock barriers between the gorges, if you're out paddling, you will need to manually port your canoes through those rock barriers to get between the various gorges. As I mentioned, I'm down at the helipad, so we do have a range of helicopter flights available as well. They start from short scenic flights for 10 minutes over the first 3 gorges, and they go right up into extended touring or even charter flights. So Nitmiluk Heli Touring, which is our helicopter company here on site, we have the exclusive landing rights in the Nitmiluk National Park. So we do have a few landing sites that we visit quite regularly. One being just a remote landing site where the helicopter can land. It lands around the 10th gorge. You can get out, take some photos looking down into the gorge system before returning to the helipad. And we also land at a rock art site that is only accessible by helicopter. So you're not able to drive there and you're not able to walk there. It's only accessible by helicopter. And we also have a little swim site as well, which is a little set of cascading pools, again, only accessible by helicopter. What have I missed here? Accommodation. So Nitmiluk also offers quite a range of accommodation. In our campgrounds, we've got powered and unpowered sites with a resort-style pool centrally located. At the resort-style pool, we also have a seasonal restaurant that's poolside, and also in nearby the campgrounds, we also have our luxury boutique lodge, Cicada Lodge. So Cicada Lodge is an 18-room property, walking distance from all tour departure points and all facilities in the National Park, including the Visitor Centre, and it is a fully hosted experience. At maximum capacity, we can only house 36 people, so 2 people in 18 rooms. And our guest services team are always on hand to make sure the experience is memorable. The Cicada Lodge restaurant is open nightly, and our in-house guests do take priority. Just due to the size of the restaurant, we do want to keep our numbers low, and we do want to make it a very boutique experience. Every night, served from 7 o'clock, it's a chef table's 3-course dinner, meaning that our chefs, they work very long and hard, having a look at what's the best seasonal produce, what are the best cuts of meats available at the time, and they will create the menu around that seasonal produce and around what's the best ingredients that is available to them on any given day. So the menus are set. They do change quite regularly, and our chefs are very, very inspired to make sure they're giving that world-class level of service and also that style of meal that you would also expect. At the Nitmiluk Visitor Centre, it's been newly refurbished for those who haven't perhaps been to Nitmiluk in the last 18 months or so. We have a reception desk where you can do all of your tour bookings, a gift shop, the cafe that's open for breakfast and lunch, and we also have a Parks and Wildlife Rangers desk in there also. So Nitmiluk National Park is jointly managed by the Jarman Association and the NT Parks and Wildlife. So we work very closely together in the national park. I feel like I've covered a lot of the basics that I wanted to get through, because I definitely wanted to allow lots of time at the end for questions, because I understand that we operate in quite a big park with a lot of products available.
Does anyone have any questions? I'm not sure if any have come through. Have they, Meg?
No questions have come through. Okay. Hi, Trish. Good to see you.
Trish, do you want to just give everybody your email address or the contact email address that they can jot down? And if anyone's got any more questions, then they can email them through to you.
Absolutely. It's salesmanager@nitmiluktours.com.au.
Great, perfect.
Yeah.
And then we just had a couple of an ideal itinerary for the first timer to Nitmiluk.
Perfect. So the ideal itinerary to Nitmiluk, well, you can't come to Katherine and not do Katherine as well as Nitmiluk. So Katherine's definitely a beautiful place as well. But the ideal itinerary, if you're traveling, say, as a family, you would arrive to Nitmiluk. You would probably stay in the Nitmiluk cabins located in the campground. They can sleep up to 5 people. If you're visiting in the dry season, you might choose to do an early morning bushwalk whilst it's nice and cool in the morning, and then you might choose to do an afternoon canoe tour from 1 o'clock till 5:30, finishing off with dinner poolside in the campgrounds. The next morning, you might choose to do a boat tour, perhaps a 4-hour tour, as it is a slower pace and there's time to go for a swim as well.
That sounds great, thank you. And there was just another question there. Walking between the gorges. Meg, what's that question? I can't quite see that.
Yes, how long and are they sealed, Trish?
Yeah, good question. So between the first and second gorge that you would walk for a boat tour, it's a man-made uneven path and it's about 400 metres each way. So there's about 30 stairs to get to the first rock art site, and then it continues on along a natural path. So many years ago, it used to be rock hopping between the gorges, and since then they've filled in some of the deeper crevices with an ochre coloured concrete. So there are still parts of the natural rock underneath that will stick out, but it is, it is a man-made path.
There was also a question on the last hotel with the National Parks tour desk.
Yeah.
Which was that hotel, please?
So Nitmiluk Tours is the sole operator of all tours and accommodation. The last accommodation option that I mentioned was Cicada Lodge, and that's managed by Parks and Wildlife. Sorry, it's not managed by Parks and Wildlife. It's managed by Nitmiluk Tours.
Yeah,
great, thanks. And there was another question about the name of the business, which is Nitmiluk Tours.
You've just answered,
yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for that, Trish. That was really interesting. Right, we're going to move on to Yvonne now. So, Yvonne, if you're ready to go, you can share your screen.
All right, sorry everybody. So I'm Yvonne, this is Neville. We're from Off-Road Dreaming. We started a tour operation back in March 2011. So we have been operating for 10 years next month. And what we do is Nev has all the experience, the knowledge of the regions throughout the top end, and I'm working with the customers, and we put tours together with all the attractions that everyone's talking about. We meet with the customers. Customers tell us what group size they have, how many people they're traveling with, where they're traveling from, how many days they have to spend here, how much time, and they give us a little bit of an idea what they want to do, and we put the whole package together for them. So that is what we do at Off-Road Dreaming. And we do 2 public day tours to Kakadu, 12 hours, Darwin and back. We go to Uber, Guliambi in the dry, and Nurlanji and Yellow Waters in the wet season. And then we also have a public day tour to Litchfield. And we also sell private tours. So our private tours is to anybody. We have family groups, we have educational groups, we take small young children, we take small groups high school age, and we also have some university students as well. International, obviously when it comes back, it was big for us, and we do interstate all over Australia. So, and also a new group for us, which has really been emerging the last couple of years, is the leisure group. So yoga groups, special interest groups, that kind of thing. So they're quite small and like a little bit of luxury when they're traveling around. And we also have cruise ship groups that come with us for a limited amount of time, and we put together packages for them. So there's just a couple of examples of some students enjoying Kakadu. And then when we take these groups around on multi-day tours, they can go camping with us, or they can stay in hotels. So some people prefer hotels. Some people like to mix it up, some camping nights, some hotel nights. So this is an example of a group camping. So this would be, for example, an educational group, a large group. We have up to 48 pack size. So we can take a coach, obviously depending on where we're going. We can take up to 24 in a 4-wheel drive for a larger group, 4-wheel drive into Kakadu. And we have Land Cruisers for small private groups as well. And then this is an example of our classic camping. So again, we can do this multi. This is one family, but we've taken multi-family groups out in the large 4-wheel drive, and then we just put the package together for them. We take them through Kakadu and other areas in the top end and give them the cultural, local experience that they're looking for. And this is an example of our Outback luxury camping. So this is mobile camping. This is our speciality is tailoring the itinerary to what they want to do and where we think they would enjoy. So we like to swap locations every couple of days, take them really where they want to go. And this is an example of what we can do with our tent. So this is Outback Luxury. It's more space. So it's a much bigger tent than classic camping. It's got stretchers for the mattresses. We've got eco bed linen. We've got eco accessories. We've got lights outside. There's rugs and there's a little bedside table. And this is just a little bit for that glamping customer. But for us, it's still Outback. We're still in the wilderness. We're still able to give them that truly Outback authentic experience. And then Nev's is our expert on locations. So he's just going to tell you a little bit about the activities that we can include in any of these tours. Basically, if you have clients who are looking to get in touch with somebody like us, they want to go a bit here, a bit here, a bit there, not quite exactly sure how to fit it all together, not quite exactly sure where to go first and spend the most amount of time, then that's our speciality. We can put that together for them. We can work with them, and we can work with you through them. We can work with them through you to put together their package and hopefully meet their budget, meet their time frame, and include some of their desired destinations. And we will add our advice as well, where they would really enjoy. So Nev's just going to give you a little bit about some of our activities.
Yeah, g'day everyone. Excuse me. So we are sorry, excuse me. So we are based in Darwin. Obviously, that's where we'll find the main sort of domestic and international airport. So we can pick up clients from their accommodation in Darwin and get them out into location in Kakadu. We work with a number of the operators in Kakadu. So if we're basing a tour around accommodation, there is the Mercure Crocodile Hotel through Kakadu Tourism. We use other local Indigenous operators as well, such as Kakadu Cultural Tours. They operate a fantastic river cruise up in the eastern part of Kakadu, offering a great sort of cultural experience. And sort of private sort of cultural immersion experiences as well, with some locations and operators in Kakadu too.
So we have we have got some private cultural immersion experiences that we do on private property. We've got some locations where it is ideal for high school and university students, and we've got other locations which are good for primary school students. So we've really got it, and we can do that 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, 9 days, cultural immersion experience for schools and universities.
Yes, so I suppose my experience sort of gives us a good chance to operate through the different locations and I suppose maximise the client's time in those areas. So when we do the camping trips, we generally choose a location where we set up for at least 2 to 3 nights and basically make that a base camp and get out into the locations around that camp, such as, you know, Ubi up in the northern parts of Kakadu, or Jim Jim Falls in the central and heart of Kakadu, along with the Yellow Waters Billabong, and then the southern parts of Kakadu as well. We can sort of shift down and camp around and near Gunlom and Kulpin. So we are an operator that actually has a special permit into Kulpin Gorge, and also a little spot that's not really on the maps, but a beautiful little hidden swimming hole such as Moline, right down in the southern part of Kakadu.
So then if you have clients interested in working with us, and if we are happy to work with any operation within the top end. We'll meet them, we'll see what they offer, we'll put it together for them. You can contact us by email, reservations@offeradreaming.com.au, and we'll liaise with you, put it all together, and of course try our hardest to meet your requirements and give you our suggestion of how we can fit it all together. We work with the net price on private tours, and then travel agents also have a retail price, and then they take their commission from our public day tours.
Great, thanks, Yvonne. We had a couple of questions come through actually. One was about the tours. So you do offer tours in the Litchfield area as well as Kakadu, that's correct, right?
That's correct, yeah. We've got a permit to tour anywhere. We also do tours down in Alice, so we tour anywhere throughout the Northern Territory and also Western Australia.
Brilliant. And you're going to be on a different webinar actually in a couple of days too for that Darwin region, which you'll talk about your Litchfield tours. Yeah. And another question came through about your campground. So that's kind of like a freedom camping setup, or you're not in an actual campground when you're out overnight?
Yeah, we are generally in sort of set campgrounds.
We do a mixture. It really depends on the customer. We get to know who the customer is, and there are some customers who want to go out wild and do that really outback experience, which we can do. Yeah. But most of our customers, we stay at managed campsites where there's showers and toilets. All that sort of stuff, yeah. We move around. We don't have a permanent campsite that we use, so we move around, but we use the parks campsites as much as fits with each client.
Great. Okay. Were there any other questions from anybody out there today? Nothing? Okay, so you've got Yvonne's contact details there if you want to get in touch with her. We might now move on to Greg from Way Outback Australian Safari. So thank you, Yvonne. Thanks, that was great. If we can move on to Greg now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Alrighty, Thanks for that, Karen, and all the other speakers. Good morning, everybody. I'm not sure where everybody's based. It'd be just about getting on to afternoon for some of you. For those of you that I don't know, I can see there's a lot of agents on here. I'm one of the owners of Way Outback Safaris, and I'm normally based in the UK, but with our lovely COVID going on, I'm very fortunate to be back here in Australia helping out to get the company through. So basically, Way Outback's been operating since 1999. So the company is more than 20 years old. We had to hibernate the business between October and April. So we basically shut the operation down back in mid-October, and the business is about to get up and going again from April. Now, the good news is that even though normally 90% of our business are international clients, we've been able to adapt quite quickly, and we've got quite good support domestically. And I'm very pleased to say that both in the Red Centre and the top end, we've already got about 70 groups booked in for this season, so April through to October. So the company is looking in good shape. We've got about 27 full-time eco-accredited tour guides on our books that will be working with us again from April. And, you know, we're very happy to be getting ready to get up and operating again. Now, the company has always focused on small group nature-based touring. We used to run both four-wheel drive and bus tours, but we decided for the domestic market in particular that we would focus more on our middle to higher end four-wheel drive programs. So basically everything that we're operating through the next 6 or 7 months, starting up in April, will be our deluxe 18 to 21 seat four-wheel drives, but we're capping the groups at a maximum of 18 people. So our smallest four-wheel drive trip is just 6 people, and the largest group size is 18. In addition to our, what I call our FIT program, so our scheduled touring, all those tours will be operating 3 times a week, but we also do a lot of group and charter business, and already about 20% of our bookings for this year are pre-arranged groups. And with groups, because we've got vehicle sizes from the Land Rover Discovery vehicles through to our large Isuzu four-wheel drive trucks, we can cater from everything from families through to high-end clients and school groups as well. So a really wide range. Where we're a little bit different as well to some of our competitors that are dealing with, I guess, the larger groups of tours, we also cater very well to families. So we've set up our campsites. Generally, our tents are on a twin share basis, but for about the last 7 or 8 years, we've also set up a number of tents in each campsite, which have 3 or 4 people to a tent. And so we're catering for families as well. And with our family market, we used to have minimum age group of 8 people, but a few years ago we dropped that back to minimum 5 years of age, and that's worked very well. We don't carry infants simply because of the large driving distances out in the territory. It's not really fair for either the families themselves or other people that are joining the tour with those families. So minimum 5 years. Now, the company founded itself on what I'd call mid-range comfortable camping tours with permanent campsites, but we also offer a range of accommodated tours as well. Now, today, obviously, I'm talking about the top end. For those agents that are joining us again on Thursday, we'll be talking about the Red Centre there as well. But in the top end, we also have 3 and 4 day programs where clients can upgrade if they're not really keen on the camping. They can upgrade to lodge accommodation, both at Jabiru and Coimbra as well. The company is very reliable. As I said, it's been around a long time, it does have a key focus on authenticity as well. In the top end, we're working with just the one Indigenous community over this next 6 months, just due to availability of operators. But in the Red Centre, we work with 3 or 4 different Indigenous communities down there. Something that we've also changed for this year, for people that already know the tours, we've always traditionally had one driver guide. So the guide basically does everything, helps gets the clients to help with the meal preparation. And we used to actually have hosts based in the campsite, so the hosts could help out with making the beds in the camp, cleaning the campsites, helping the group collect their firewood, etc. But with COVID, we wanted a higher level of food hygiene in particular, but also cleaning the vehicles in between walks each time the groups get on and off the buses. So what we've decided to do this year, and we've built into our pricing, is that we actually have 2 accredited tour guides on each departure. So rather than just having one tour guide, we've got the 2 tour guides on every trip. That's also a really key factor on some of the walks, where we're getting older clients that may not feel comfortable or not have the ability to do some of the longer walks, places like Twin and Jim Jim Falls, for example. By having that second guide, so we can have a guide at the front of the group and the second guide at the back of the group, it just really helps with customer safety and giving the clients a lot more enjoyable experience. So that second guide's not only just helping with the meals and the camp activities, but on those walks, it's a really huge bonus, particularly when you're getting up to groups of sort of 14 to 18 people. Okay, now this next slide's not particularly attractive, but I did want to give you an overview of the trips that are being operated this year. Obviously, we try and encourage people, as many as possible, to do guided tours in Kakadu. One big selling point, which we always push to our agents, is that our guides are very well versed in flora and fauna, and particularly on the fauna side of things. A lot of people self-driving in the top end would just purely drive straight past a lot of the wildlife that the guides are trained to see, and also know where the animals kind of hang out. So a big selling point to the domestic market is that having that tour guide with you, you will definitely see a lot more wildlife than you would driving yourself. But for those customers that are self-driving, we do have a day tour. So most of our tours you'll see are multi-day trips, but we also operate a day tour which starts from Jabiru. We base one of our 4-wheel drive trucks out at Jabiru for the season. And for our camping and caravan market, or our 2-wheel drivers going into Kakadu, if they would like to go in and visit the 2 largest waterfalls in the park, which is Twin and Jim Jim Falls, then we offer that day tour for that self-drive market as well. So that's the Gecko Dreaming. The 3 to 5 day tours, essentially you'll see they're also all operating 3 departures a week. We run those trips with minimum 4 people, and I'm pleased to say that already we have about 70% of our departures guaranteed in the top end. The 5-day tour in particular is very popular with the domestic market. That's making up about 2/3 of our total bookings so far. With those trips, they all operate in permanent tents. I'll show you some of those tents in just a moment. But they all have hot shower and clean flushing toilet facilities. And then on the 3 and 4 day program, as I said, for people that aren't too keen on the camping, then we will also upgrade to Kawinda Lodge, and we have upgrades to a small lodge in Jabiru called Anbinik Lodge, which I'll show you a couple of photos of in just a minute. So the difference between the 3, 4 and 5 day trips, they're all exactly the same in terms of their quality and style. The difference is purely the destinations that we visit on each trip. So our shortest multi-day trip is the 3-day Dragonfly Dreaming Tour, and it essentially focuses on Kakadu and Litchfield National Parks. The 4-day program is basically an extension of that 3-day trip. So it's the exact first 3 days into Kakadu and Litchfield, and then on the last day we do a full day into Arnhem Land, coming back to Jabiru in the evening of the 3rd night. The 5-day program, we don't offer this as an accommodated option. This is camping only, and that particular tour includes Katherine Gorge, or the Nitmaluk region, as well, and it also includes a nice 2 to 3 hour experience with the Top Dig Indigenous guys based just out of Katherine there. So the 5-day one does your 3 sort of quintessential national parks in the top end, which is Litchfield, Kakadu, and of course Nitmaluk. You can see the gross price down on the bottom there. There's different pricings on the 3 and 4-day trips, because the first line there, I know it's quite a small slide, so I apologise if you can't see that text too clearly, but the first line is essentially the camping price, and then underneath that are the accommodated, twin share and single rack rate pricing. Okay, we also have discounts for groups of 4 or more and family discounts, and we also offer small discounts for customers that join both our top end and our Red Centre tours, which many of our customers actually do. So that's another little selling point for our agents. Just to give you a look at a few photos while I wrap up this last few minutes. So you'll see one of the family tents on the left-hand side, and then you'll see the layout of the rest of the tents, which are primarily twin share. For anybody that doesn't know the Anbinic Lodge in Jabiru, there's just a couple of photos there. It's quite a quirky little property. I love the outdoor shower facilities, so they're en-suited, but they have the outdoor shower, which is really nice. This slide just gives you a look at the vehicles. They are the best 4-wheel drives in the market. They're all forward-facing, reclining seats, large windows for viewing, and they can pretty much go anywhere. And then just a couple of images of Arnhem Land, which has already been talked about today. So thank you for that.
Great. We've actually got a few questions here. So one was about swimming at Jim Jim in Twin Falls. Can you swim there, Greg?
Yeah, well, Twin Falls, unfortunately, about a decade ago, actually stopped swimming there, unfortunately. We used to take people up there on lilos, but no, there's actually a national park-based boat cruise in there. So what we do is we walk people into the gorge, and we charge a $12.50 fee, which is charged by parks. And basically everybody climbs into a little boat and they're taken up through the gorge, but you can no longer swim in those regions, unfortunately.
Okay, great. And there was a question about, are any of your tours wheelchair friendly?
Are all what friendly, sorry?
Are any of your tours wheelchair friendly?
Unfortunately not, because of the walking aspect there. The only time we'll do wheelchair friendly tours are for individual or group basis, but unfortunately our scheduled touring program, everybody needs a reasonable level of fitness because of the hikes.
Okay, great. Meg, was there a couple of more questions that came through?
Yes, just about whether the 4-wheel drive bus can access the Jim Jim Falls, please, Greg?
Yes, they certainly can. So again, that's a big advantage of our company having the 4-wheel drive vehicles, which we use on all the tours. We do have access to Jim Jim and Twin Falls. And for agents' information, they generally open up about the 2nd or 3rd week of June, and they close towards the end of October to the middle of November each year.
And where do you take customers, please, when Jim Jim is closed?
We'll use other waterfall areas. So the other 2 key areas which we use are Maguk or Barramundi Gorge, and of course Gunlom Falls is the other famous one, which Tourism NT promote quite well with a lot of their imagery. So we've got 2 other very good alternative waterfall destinations.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Great, thanks so much, Greg. I'll get you just to stop sharing your screen, and I'm just going to quickly whip back to mine and just wrap things up because I know we're running quite over time.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to remind everybody about our competition that we're running with this. With the webinars, we've got 6 really fantastic prizes up for grabs, all donated from our operators. They're valued at over $23,000. So to enter these, what you need to do is there's 31 questions on our competition page. You need to answer at least 10 of those questions, and you can submit your answers into our portal, which is on the Trade Showcase website page, which is on the screen there. But you need to answer 10 questions, and you have to do it in one go, and please only enter once. So the major prize package is a 7-night stay in the top end of the Northern Territory, so it's a really great prize. Just a couple of events to touch on that are coming up. We've got the $1 Million Fish that happens every year, but that is still running at the moment, where you can literally snag $1 million if you catch a fish that's been tagged with the $1 Million tag. That runs every year, so if you've got clients that are interested in fishing, this is a really cool thing to tell them about. We've got Pajama, which is coming up in Alice Springs in April. It's a really beautiful Aboriginal Light Festival that also happens every year. And the Taste of Kakadu, which Sam also touched on earlier, that's happening in May. So that's a really good event to come up if sort of a food event is something that you're interested in, and you can experience Kakadu while you're there. Just for our Australian agents, the NT Summer Sale is still running. You're probably aware of this. It's running until the 31st of March. It's for packages and products booked up until the 31st of March. So your clients can still leave on the 31st of March and return in April, but that is still taking place. Your customers will save $200 for every $1,000 they spend on NT product. And for you guys as agents, you'll get a $50 incentive for any eligible booking. And for every 5 bookings you make, you'll receive an entry into a place to win a place on all of NT for Mill. And that's going to be an awesome for Mill that we're going to be running later in the year. Our trade training program, you're probably all familiar with this. If you're not joined up to our trade training program, you can do that at our website link below, which is just tourismnt.com.au/trade, and we do a quarterly training program. Every quarter we do a webinar, we do online training, and heaps of great resources there. So just to wrap things up, we have 2 spot prizes that we're giving away today for this webinar. So what the winners will be getting is a jet set pack from Viva La Body. It's a really cool NT based company that make these really natural cleansers and moisturizers and things. So this jet set pack is valued at $60. And if we've got a Kathleen Naker from APTC on the webinar today and a Kieran Mate Star from Go Tours, then I'll be getting in touch with you guys to send through your pack. So congratulations, guys. And that's it from me. Thank you so much for attending. Thank you to our operators for coming along today. My details are there. If anybody wants to get in touch for any information, here's our product showcase websites on site. We'll have this webinar saved onto that site in the next day or so you can rewatch it if you've missed any of it. And I think that's everything from me. So thanks everybody. Thank you for coming along, and there's going to be more pre-recorded webinars on our website that are live now, and there's also going to be another 4 live webinars that we've got happening this week and next week. So if you haven't signed up for one of those, then please do so. So that's it from me. Thank you everyone. We will see you again soon.